The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hello, it's Nick Jervis from Samson Consulting. Welcome to the More Clients from Your Law Firm website webinar. And today, that's what I'm going to show you, how to get more clients from your legal website. If you haven't got one, I'll show you how to get the right website from the start to make sure you do that. So let's dive straight in. Bit of my background. I was a solicitor for about 14 years, I think it was, many years ago now. Left in 2003. I've spent over £2 million online. I manage to spend over £1 million every year for my clients, for solicitors, and everything I tell you is based on what I know works, not what I think works, what might work, what might look good, what might look pretty. It's based on what actually does produce results. So please, I was having a chat with a client of mine earlier, and he was extolling the virtues of some sites he thought looked really good, and I had to explain that he might like them, but they wouldn't work because I've tested what's on them, and it doesn't work. And nothing frustrates me more than a solicitor who comes to me having just spent a lot of money on a nice new website, which their website designer says is brilliant, but which I know won't make the telephone ring. And a few months later, they come back and say, Nick, the phone's not ringing. What can I do to fix it? So I'm sharing with you what needs to be done to make a website generate clients for you today. I'm interested only in making your life easier, and your website can make your life an awful lot easier if you do it right. I'm going to cover with you how to get more inquiries from your website, how to turn more of those clients, more of those inquiries into new clients, and how to get more of the above. I'll also share with you a way that you can get more help from me to make sure you keep on doing the right things, because that is what this is about. Marketing, if you get it right and you keep on doing it right, it gets easier and easier. And that's, as I say, what I like to do, make your life easier, make my life easier. The key thing about why you need to do this is that you've got so much competition, 10,414 competitors, because at the last count there were 10,415 law firms, but that doesn't take into account people not inside the legal profession offering legal services, whether it's wills, employment, HR, that sort of thing. It doesn't take into account the conveyancing companies, the licensed conveyancers, doesn't take into account the swarming number of consultant solicitors now growing, who are obviously all fighting even against their own consultant firm to bring work in. So it doesn't take all those factors into account. So the competition is increasing, and you need to make sure that you're doing all you can to get yourself as much work as you should have to build the law firm that you want, to build the law firm that provides you with the profits and the fun and the entertainment that you're looking for. And how do you do this? Some simple things first. Now, in Marketing for Solicitors, which I'll talk about with you briefly later, I talk about having the perfect client conversion conversation. So where you have that chat with the client, where you turn that client into someone that wants to use you and only you. And there's a whole process I take you through called the Meaningful Conversation, which goes into detail about that. But one of the key parts of that is not making this mistake. And I'll reference it by someone I used to work with, used to go off to court, get a result, come back and spend 10 minutes telling me how well he'd done. Then at the end of that 10 minutes say, oh, Nick, enough about me. What do you think of me? And then would like me to extol his virtues, which of course I never would, because I don't play those sorts of games. But that's a mistake that I see a lot of solicitors making, particularly on their websites, that they talk all about the firm and not about the client. So you've got to talk about where the client is, what their needs are, what they're looking for, what pain they're in, what problems they have. So that's crucial. That's what your website should be doing. Most firms don't do this. So have a look at your website after this and make sure you're not making this mistake. Now let's look at how you can get more inquiries. Now this one might seem strange, and you might say, well, it's obvious what I do, but I can't tell you the number of times I've gone onto a law firm website and I can't work out whether they're lawyers or not. Let me give you an example. A large firm locally to me, and it's not until you scroll halfway down the page that you might see that they're actually solicitors. Now, the fact that you're solicitors, especially when there's all this competition I mentioned who aren't lawyers, is a big tick in the box. It's a big bonus, and that should be shouted loud and proud at the top of your website. If it isn't, you're definitely missing opportunities there. The next thing that is a major miss is not telling me what you want me to do at the end of the page. And the number of times I've spoken to solicitors, I must speak with 20 to 50 a month, And they tell me that, well, when a client gets to the end of our page, they know what they do. They go off and they find the contact page. Then they decide whether they'll phone us or they'll email us or come and visit us. And I explained to them that the problem with that is that most people will visit 1 or 2 pages on your website. And if you expect them to go off and find your contact page, you're wasting the pages that they're looking at. What your client wants to do is look at one page, see if there's enough information there for them to believe that you are experts on what you do. Then you should tell them exactly what they need to do next to actually get in touch with you. And I've got a process that I share in Marketing for Solicitors, the website lead generation system, to make that automatic. But what you need to understand is that if at the bottom of your page you currently just say, here we are, this is what we do, and then nothing else, you are missing work every day. So you need to fix that. You need to tell people what it is that you do. The other key thing, as I said, the 2-minute trust builder, most people will visit 2 pages on average on a law firm website, and I manage dozens of law firm websites. This is based, again, as I say, on evidence, not on what I think might be happening. Most people will visit a maximum of 2 pages, it used to be 2 minutes, it's actually down to about 90 seconds. So in 90 seconds, you've got to convince someone that you are the right solicitor for them, because that's what you're trying to do here. They've come to you cold from a website inquiry, they've Googled, they've found you, you've done that bit well. But now they need to believe that you're experts at what you do. And there's 2 ways of doing that. There's depth of expertise, and then there's proof of that expertise. And you need to have enough pages in each service area to believe that you're experts, and then enough content on each page to believe that you're experts. And this is another issue that I constantly come against. Solicitors say, well, I'm not putting too much content on the page, because then people do the legal stuff themselves, which, if you actually think about it logically, is mad, but I've heard it so many times. There's no way if I read about conveyancing that I'm going to become a conveyancer. I won't know how to do the searches, how to do any of the processes, pay the stamp duty, etc. It's not going to happen. But there's 2 reasons you need enough content, and that should be 400 words to 2,000 words. And if you think that's terrifying, it's not, because you break it down with bullet points and images. But there's no way Google knows what your page is about unless there's enough words on it, and there's no way your clients believe that you actually specialize in this area of law if you do not talk about it enough. So it's vital that you do both of those things. So that's the depth of expertise. And then the other element is proof of your expertise, external endorsements, so your qualifications. And we're talking about, the Lexcel and the likes of STEP, etc. And the key thing with those is when you have them on your website, you do not, as most solicitors do, allow the client to click off to those websites, because then all they can do is search for another solicitor and you've lost them. You put them to a page on your website which explains how those endorsements prove that you're good at your job and prove that they should work with you. So that's your qualifications, your testimonials, and the or is there because most people call them reviews nowadays. If Amazon are doing it, TripAdvisor, it's logical that we should follow that. Press coverage, books and articles published, and another one, volume of people helped. How many people have you actually helped in your area of law? That's proof of expertise, because if you've helped 100 people, 1,000 people, 10,000, 1 million people, you must have done something right. And that's what we're looking for here. Remember, we're trying to win the client's trust in 90 seconds. You've got to get this trust that they pick up the phone or they fill in your inquiry form and go off and make contact with you. So it's vital you cover these elements off. As I say, when you've got them, don't let them click off to go to their website. The next part is that you've got to sell someone onto your website. And another huge mistake, this one that most solicitors make. Google gets the information it displays in its search results from your website, from code behind the page, and it displays it in the search results. And if it just says ABC solicitors, we are here, we do this, some people won't click through because you're not selling them onto a website. This is your advertising space. So if you Google Marketing for Solicitors, you come across this entry and you'll notice a couple of things, the headline, and then need legal marketing help to win your new clients, Samson Consulting, our legal marketing specialists, read our free Marketing for Solicitors guide. And there's leading capitals there because I've tested and I know that performs better than if you just have lowercase letters. So in your case, it must be that you sell someone onto your firm. So if I type in conveyancing solicitor Reading, then the title tag needs to be conveyancing solicitors Reading, free quotation, no sale, no fee. And then the description would be leading Reading solicitors offering conveyancing services to Reading and the wider Berkshire community, free inquiry. And that's it. And that sells me onto the website using leading capitals and gets me through to your pages. And that is all done in your title and description tags. And I cover that in detail in a 4-part training series called the Website Lead Generation System, which shows you how to either do that yourself or how to tell your web guy to do this. But it's vital, because if your website is getting into the Google search results, if you haven't done this bit, then there's absolutely no way someone's going to click through to your website. But if you do this and you quickly change your website, then you'll find that you can go from having no inquiries a day to often 5 a day. And I've had people go through this training, and that's exactly what they have had happen. So they previously had a website that doesn't sell people onto it from the Google search results. It doesn't tell people that they're solicitors. It doesn't tell people what to do at the end of every page, and it doesn't cover the 2-minute trust builder. They add all those things to it, and guess what happens? The phone starts ringing, things start to happen. So vital that you do that, vital that you take these steps, and I'll show you how to get access to that marketing solicitors. My keyword tricks, well, I've touched on those. The leading capitals is one of them. There's a great thing you can do with Google Analytics, which is go into it and look at how which search terms people have used to land on your website in the past month. And from that, you will see all the sorts of search terms that you're listed in Google. What I'd suggest you then do is Google those, go and see your results in the search results, and then you'll see exactly what I mean about how you haven't got the right bits in place to get someone to click through. Because if you type in conveyancing solicitor Reading and it lands, you see your website in the search results, and it says we are ABC solicitors, we do conveyancing, wills, probate, personal injury, employment, blah. You're not going to get people clicking through. It must be on that page all about the conveyancing, the free quote, the no sale, no fee, because it has to convince people. So analytics is somewhere people don't spend enough time. I go into how you use that in marketing for solicitors, but if you're not sure where to look, ping me an email. I'll be happy to tell you. The other thing, again, I found out through error, I was going to say trial and error, I didn't try it for a long time. As soon as I put this on a legal lead generating website, we found that the overall volume was increased and 60% of people wanted it. What this thing was an inquiry form. And if you don't have an inquiry form, and this should in no way and never be on the same page as your contact page, because then there's too many distractions. Now I've got a map, and I've got your office postcode and a telephone number and an email and everything else. It should just be a plain inquiry form on its own page, which you link through to from the bottom in your call to action, which I covered earlier. And when you do that, you will get more inquiries. Now, if you don't yet have one, then you need to put something like your Website Genie, which is software I created just for this purpose, which pops up and says, we're here to help you, yes or no. And it becomes an instant inquiry form for you. And many people have used this and found that they've increased the volume of their inquiries by a half dozen a month. Some have found that it's tripled the volume of inquiries just by putting this software on. It's £20 a month, and it's your Website Genie, so you can go and have a look at that if you'd like to. But it works, and I created it on holiday whilst thinking, what can I do to get solicitors more work without them having to do a single thing? Because once you put this on your website, it automatically generates leads for you. So the people that are already finding your website suddenly go, oh, I can't quite work out how to get in touch. What should I do? Oh, do you know what? There's that form. I'll press yes, type in my question, provide my contact details. Bang, you've got a new inquiry. Your prospect feels that they've been helped. Everyone's happy. Once you've got your inquiry form, you must have it in the right place. And I put the Amazon button there because that's where you find the Amazon button, Buy Now button on the sales page. And that's where your inquiry form button should be. So you have your heading in the website, your image maybe, and your content in the middle. And then on the right, your Buy Now. That's where you put your inquiry form or a link to make a free inquiry, make an inquiry. So they go off and they can do just that. So many firms have an inquiry form but hide it. Other firms don't have an inquiry form and are missing work. So these things are massive, can make a huge difference. And the lead generation website I mentioned, which I used to be involved with, we link to that inquiry form. Even though it's on the right hand side there, you see the quick claim inquiry. Most people click that button and fill in the inquiry form on its own page. So you can see why it's important that it has its own page, because people like to be told what to do. Read, click the button, fill in the form, off I go, inquiry sent. This one's vital. And if you want to make sure you don't get any inquiries from your website, put all of your prices on there, every single service, and your phone will be much quieter, so you'll have much more time to do whatever you want to do. If, however, you want to be busier and you want to sell more, then you mustn't put your prices on. You must stress that the first inquiry doesn't cost. You must, I know some solicitors are scared of the word free, but I wouldn't be, because the inquiry is free, the legal advice isn't. They make the free inquiry, they speak with you, then you can explain how your services and your pricing work. But if you don't have that meaningful conversation, which I mentioned at the beginning, which is one of the blueprints in marketing for solicitors, there's no way you will get the instruction. It absolutely astounds me how many solicitors are happy to send a quote by email without speaking to the client. Great stuff. When you do that, 99% of the time you won't get the work. If you're doing that, it's absolute craziness. You must read my Meaningful Conversation Blueprint to see the details of why and see how to fix that as quickly as possible. So if you've got prices on there and you want more work, take your prices off, stress that your first inquiry, there's no charge, and you'll see more inquiries coming from your website. How do you get more clients from those inquiries? Well, the first thing is you remember the whole point of your website. The whole point of your website is not to make clients for you, is to make your phone ring or to get completed inquiry forms. It's not to get the whole instruction. So when you remember that, you remember that on each page of the website, you just say, call us now or fill in our free inquiry, call us or fill in a free inquiry, because it's not to sell your legal service. That happens when you're having a meaningful conversation with the client on the telephone. And that bit's crucial. If that's the case, then who should be handling your initial calls? I'll tell you who shouldn't, 99% of the time, is your receptionist. Because if you're a small firm, 9 times out of 10, they're going to be on the phone, or it's going to go to voicemail, which this day and age shouldn't happen. If you're a larger firm, then it goes to the receptionist or the 2 receptionists, and when they can't answer it, it goes passed around to the secretaries who don't want to answer it. So suddenly we've got a whole case of telephone avoidance going on. And the client goes elsewhere. So all of the work that we've just done to make your phone ring is wasted because the phone isn't answered quickly enough. And I've mystery shopped dozens of law firms, and I promise you the phone isn't answered quickly enough. When it is, it's not dealt with well enough. I've done some of my own mystery shopping and be passed from pillar to post with people that don't want to speak to me because they can't be bothered because they're busy doing their fee earning work. The beauty of having a call center is that they will take the inquiry. They'll be happy to take the inquiry because that's all they do. They'll fill in an inquiry form so you can track what's working for your marketing. They'll ask the client how you found them so you can see the results of all of your efforts and the money that you're spending on marketing. And suddenly you have a lot more transparency about what's going on and what's working with your marketing, and you can then spend more in the right places and stop spending in those places that isn't working. You can get a call handling company from as little as £50 a month. So there's no financial reason not to do this. And for a smaller firm, it saves you employing a receptionist. So there's a financial benefit to have your calls answered. The other thing is they will answer calls from 8 till 8 p.m. normally, and at the weekends, so you'll make sure you don't miss any valuable leads. The final point on how to get more clients from your inquiries is you have to follow up. And again, it's all part of the process in the meaningful conversation, but it staggers me how many solicitors normally, if they bother to have the chat with the client, they don't have a proper meaningful conversation. They just throw figures at the client. And then if they do send an email, that's a miracle in most cases. If they send an email, they won't do the next parts, which are vital, which is send something in writing and follow up on the phone until you get the instruction. And I've had clients triple their conversions by simply doing those things and not selling, not hard selling. You don't need to. It's simply a case of, phone needs to check you've got my details, any questions. But that's not hard selling, is it? That's not being aggressive and pushing someone to do something they don't want to do. That's just helping someone better, isn't it? I know it is, and I know it works. So if you want more work, that's one way of doing it. How to get more inquiries and more clients? First thing is your hourly rates, one of those or more. So you shouldn't be doing your marketing yourself. You've put in place marketing systems and you outsource, and all you do is check your numbers. You can get outsourced suppliers for any aspect of what you want to do for between £25 to £50 an hour normally. So why would you do it yourself when you can get it done for you? And the number of solicitors I find dabbling with their website, again, is insane when you could get someone to do that for you for a fraction of the cost. Same with any aspect of your marketing. I manage Google AdWords. For clients, I'm not cheap in terms of outlay, but I'm damn cheap in terms of return on investment because I make the campaign work. So someone can do anything that you need doing for you, and it will normally provide much better results because they're specialists at what they do. If you are thinking of changing your website, let me give you some advice. How not to do it is take your current website down and put site under construction, because that's dreadful. Also Google punishes you because it suddenly says you're non-existent, so it will harm you long term as well. And then wait until everyone's produced the content you need, which of course will take at least a year or 2 years, and then finally put your website live. That's not how you do it. What you do is you agree a new design, you transfer the existing content to that new design, and then you go and add to that content or change that content. That way you make sure that you do not have time down where, even if a client sees your current bad website, it's better than seeing a website that doesn't exist. So you keep the bad website, you transfer across the old content to the new design, then you go ahead. You also take advice from me, not your website designer, because website designers want to do something different and something new to excite them every time. I know what works based on having tested multiple ways of doing websites. So if you're at the point that you are thinking about getting a website, I would urge you to sign up for Marketing for Solicitors. Watch the 4-part website lead generation system training, which explains why you need a website to look and feel a certain way. Then go and get your website, not the other way around. Because, as I said, one of the things I'm very sad about is that frequently people come to me at a time that they've just spent £2,000, £3,000, £4,000 on a website, and you don't need to spend that, by the way. But they come to me at that point and go, it doesn't work. And I say, I know, I could have told you that, unfortunately. So please don't do that. Spend the £60 a month on MPress and save yourself the hassle of having a website that doesn't work. So I've told you some changes you can make instantly to generate more inquiries. I've told you how to get more clients from those inquiries, and I've showed you how to outsource your website promotion. I've also mentioned Marketing for Solicitors, and just to cover what it is in a little bit more detail, I've got some details here for you. There's 16 blueprints. The second one is the one I've talked about quite a bit today, the meaningful conversation, which shows you how to have the client conversation which generates more instructions at better fees, and that's the key thing. So if you sell conveyancing using a meaningful conversation, I've had a client increase his fees by almost double and convert 75% of all callers he gets for conveyancing, because he literally follows the meaningful conversation blueprint to the letter, and it works. So that should be proof enough. Also includes the Google AdWords Masterclass, includes the video training, the website lead generation system, which in 4 parts shows you exactly what you've got to do to have a website that makes your phone ring. There's 10 Marketing for Solicitors newsletters every month. In fact, the latest one's going to the print early next week. So if you sign up now, you'll get that copy in the post, something physical to read through, which tells you the latest things that are working. Some great stuff on key performance indicators and how to get your staff performing. There's precedents in there for you to use, including a follow-up letter, a letter sending your quote, the important things covered. You can have your questions answered in that circular by sending them in to me, and you get access to the 60 odd now archives of those circulars. There's 2 levels of Marketing for Solicitors. Both of them receive the Advertising Success 3 Tips Toolkit, show you how to turn your ads into ads that work, the Cross-Selling and Referrals Toolkit, which gives you 119 ways to generate instructions from existing clients. And then if you join up at the first level, £65 a month, the second £75. For an extra £10 a month, you get one-on-one email support from me. So in addition to be able to ask questions in circular, you can actually email me and say, Nick, I've drafted this ad. What do you think? Nick, here's our website. We're just changing it. What do you think? So you get critiques on your marketing and websites, email support, and you have a quarterly one-on-one call with me where I review what you've done, suggest what you should do for the next quarter, and then we do it again in the next quarter. That's just £10 a month more, but obviously hope you'll see there's a huge amount more value there because you're getting one-on-one access and my feedback. There's lots of nice things. You'll see them on the website, so I won't dwindle on those now. But all I'll say is it's been going, how many years? I worked this out, over 8 years, and my first members are still members. Now, they wouldn't be members if I hadn't provided them with huge value, because they're very serious business people and they want their law firms to do well. And that fact alone makes me very happy that I must be doing something right. So that's the only point there. your action plan, make changes to your website, even if you don't join Marketing for Solicitors. Go through this. When you see the recording I'll send out to you, please make changes to your website, make it better, get more work, get more clients through the door. But if you can join me at Marketing for Solicitors, then I would love to have you there, because it works and you get access to me and you can find out exactly what you need to do to create the law firm that you want. And that's the point of this, isn't it? There's no point in having a law firm that's okay. Why not get the law firm that you want, that produces clients, lots of clients, produces enough profit for you to really enjoy your business, but also your life outside of your business? That's one of the great pleasures I take when I work with someone and they increase their turnover and their profits, and they can suddenly enjoy life a bit more. That's what we're all after, is it not? I suggest that it is. I'd love to see you there. So if you have any questions, please feel free to email me on the address there, ianjones@samsonconsulting.co.uk. Hopefully I will see you soon in Marketing for Solicitors. Thanks for your time today.